Ooh, you take a look at that. Okay, National Donut Day is this Friday, benefiting the Salvation Army of Greater Houston. If you feel guilty about the calories, that's okay. Let us help you shed that guilt with the Christmas in July race. John Romacco at Salvation Army of Greater Houston has details on how both events can help local families in need. Good morning.
Good morning.
I love how these two go together.
Yeah, they came out great, didn't they?
We'll get to that in a minute. All right, when it comes to the Salvation Army, I remember for years I would see them as when I was a reporter, we'd show up to disasters or whatever,
Right.
and I'd see them always out there, but I didn't know the full breadth of what they did beyond the kettles and the cup of coffee. There is so much that they do on a day-to-day basis, not just when there's disasters, day-to-day basis to help people with their personal storms, if you will.
Right, for sure. Well, you know, Donut Day that's what it's all about. It's bringing focus to what the Salvation Army does. This thing started back in World War I, where we gave donuts to troops and just to strengthen morale. And fast forward today, it's really about bringing awareness to what we do here in Houston. So whether it be the front lines in World War I or right here in Houston with people fleeing from domestic violence at our Jones Family Residence, veterans at our Hope Center, people that are suffering from addiction at our Adult Rehabilitation Center. We have Red Shield Youth Centers that help with kids just all over Houston.
When we say help with kids, like those after-school programs are so critical.
Yes, and we have a Youth of the Year program where we handed out over $200,000 in scholarships to over 80 kids just a couple months ago. So the breadth of the Salvation Army here in Houston is extreme, and you know, I just thought it was thrift stores and things like that, but it's actually so much more.
And you know personally that it's so much more. If you don't, I know you've shared this before, but I never get tired of the story because it just shows the power of what this organization can do.
Yeah, Salvation Army changed my life. On April 27, 2018, I checked into the Adult Rehabilitation Center homeless, and 8 years later,
I'm gonna stop right there. You checked in homeless, but before then, you had lived a pretty affluent life. So this shows that it happens to everybody.
I was in financial services for over 20 years, regional vice president at AIG, and addiction knows no boundaries. And I found myself in a situation that I never thought I would be in, and I needed a hand up, not a handout. And the Salvation Army was there when I needed it the most. And people like you. We've known each other for almost 8 years now, and you've been a huge part of my life and the Salvation Army here in Houston, chairing our gala. Just all the great things that you do for us too, Deborah.
Well,
I really
your story is one of the ones that you reeled me in, John.
We've been friends for a long time, and I really appreciate that.
No, I appreciate what this organization does, and it is a global movement, if you will.
Yes,
I was in Norway several years ago, and I walked in, and I saw the Salvation Army store, and I walked in, the lady, I go, "You won't believe this, but I work with the Salvation Army in Houston, Texas." She's like, "Okay, yeah, well, can I help you buy something?"
Right.
But it is something that's a commitment around the world, and the great thing about here is the money raised here stays here, right?
That's right. All the money that is raised here in Houston stays local to help what we're doing here in town.
Yeah, all right. Speaking of what we're doing, I smell these donuts. These are so good. Okay, explain to us how Donut Day works.
Well, first off, let me give a big shout out to River Oaks Donuts. They put together these magnificent donuts, and so did HEB. We will in fact be at River Oaks on Friday at 8 a.m. just to talk about what the Salvation Army does, and we'll also be at the HEB on Bunker Hill, where you can take a picture with the Donut Lassie and just learn more about what the Salvation Army does.
And that Donut Lassie is that person you talked about.
That's correct.
Back
so
in the
those
day.
were the girls that were handing out the donuts to the troops in France.
Okay.
And so it's really changed into something spectacular. In October in 1938, it was declared a national day. And again, it's just to bring awareness of the great things the Salvation Army does, not just on a global basis, but right here in Houston as well. That's really what we want to focus on, is how we're doing the most good here in Houston and the lives that we are affecting changing.
Yeah. So buy a box of donuts, take them into work or whatever, right? And so that money helps to fuel the programs that we just talked about.
And the best thing is, if you eat a ton of donuts, and let's say we overeat these donuts, or someone takes a bite
if I
of
just eat this one right here, this Texas-sized donut
that's
right here.
That's probably going to put 10, 12 pounds on anybody who eats it.
Yes.
But here's the great thing.
Yes, because we're here to help.
That's right. You can start training and running, and then on July 25th, you run in the 5-10K.
Dale's over there laughing. This is serious,
Come on,
Dale. No, we want to help you,
That's
sir.
right. Eat as many as you want, and then by July 25th, all the extra weight's gone. Boom. And you're back in swimsuit weather.
We have a lot of people who love to run. All you got to do is drive by Memorial Park and see that people will run in any kind of weather. But they're looking for, between big races that they may take part in as well, they're looking for runs to take part in. This is a great one.
That's right. And all you have to do is go to SalvationArmyHouston.org and register for the race right there, and all the proceeds go to our Red Shield Youth Centers.
Yeah, all right. So I mentioned that a lot of people are familiar with Salvation Army around Christmas time when they ring
right.
the kettle. So
That's right.
Our gala is coming up on November
In
9th
November.
this year. And so people can actually get tickets for that now.
That's right. That's right. If you go to that same website, the ticket purchase tab is there, and please come and support us. Deborah's going to be our gala chair again, and I know we've got some amazing things. And
this is one of those
we're
things where I
excited.
was so happy when it was over because you're like, it's a lot of work, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I
I
get a
didn't
phone
lie to
call.
you.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah. And then I get a phone call. It's like, we loved it so much. Will you do
Yeah,
it again
please do
next
it
year?
again.
I'm screaming in my head, no. And I was like, yes, I will. But what is so great about it is, again, the stories like yours and so many stories
Yes.
like yours. You know, it is my pleasure to do that. And I can't say enough about this organization. But yeah, and somebody described the gala, said this was not a beige gala.
No
it was
doubt.
one of the first times that they went to one where they really, truly, people were in tears. You realized the power of it throughout the
and the
community.
lives that we change. And I'm really excited this year because one of the younger girls that won our Youth of the Year is going to be one of our speakers, and her story is fantastic. And if that doesn't inspire you, man, I just don't know what will.
Yeah, and a couple of our other honorees as
sure,
well.
for sure.
All right, thank you so much. You can support the Salvation Army do the most good by purchasing donuts this Friday from River Oaks Donuts, located at 3601 Westheimer Road, and HEB at 9710 Katy Freeway. That's the Bunker Hill location. To learn more about volunteering or making a donation online, visit SalvationArmyHouston.org. That HEB is the one that I shop at, so we'll bump into each other in the donut aisle.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I'll
And
keep
eat
coming
the
around.
donuts, then change,
Yeah.
and then
And then run.
train for the race.
Yeah.